I shrunk my knitting. Hello and welcome everyone to the Fairy Little Knitting Podcast. I'm Marsha, also known as Fairy Little, and this is my podcast all about knitting and whatever kind of crafty stuff I'm feeling in the moment. Right now there's kind of some toy making going on and some crazy stuff has happened over the last week, and so in this episode I'm going to talk about works in progress, finished objects, things I did that I wish I hadn't done, and we'll get into some jibber jabber and cover some stuff that happened over the summer. As I promised, I'll get into some of that, and yeah. And last night I had a dream about Knit City and it was so fun. It was very interesting. It was very interesting. In my dream, we were packing our suitcases and I kept forgetting stuff at the house, which is super weird. Okay, so let's get right on into it. First I'll talk about what I'm wearing. This is a top that I cannot remember the name of, and so I'll just put it down below, so if you're interested in it, it's down below. I knit this a couple years ago, that's why I can't remember what the name of it is. I do know that it's a free pattern, and so you can get it for free. It's color work, it's knit in a fingering weight yarn, and I used an alpaca. I'm very vague today. I will find out all of that information. I'll put it at the bottom of the screen for you, so for your viewing pleasure. So if you're interested, you can go and take a look. The yarn actually was originally given to me by Mina Phillip of the Knitting Expat podcast. She gave me this beautiful, it reminds me of like bees, like honeycomb color. It's just a really nice, it's not mustard, but it's kind of along that line of yellow, and then there's a gray in here and a black, and just how the colors go together make it just look like there's a lot more colors in it, but it's only the three. And yeah, Mina gave me the yarn. She gave me the yellow and the black, I do believe, and then I went and I found the gray to go with it. And I love this top. It's a little bit itchy because it is alpaca. And I find that alpaca can be a little bit itchy for me, but it's not anything that's super uncomfortable. I wear something underneath. I wear an undershirt underneath, so it's not like a ton of my skin is being touched by this. And it is. So it goes down to here. There's this cute little detail here, and then the wide bottom, ribbing bottom, which I really, really like. And I knit a good chunk of this when I was I went to a retreat, like a spa retreat with some girlfriends. Our book club went, and so I got a good chunk of the knitting done while we were there, which was really, really relaxing. So it was really good. Okay, so let's hit into, I'm going to show you a finished object. It's not quite finished yet because I still have to weave in the ends, and I will do that. It will be done. I'm going to preface this with saying that this is something that has been on the needles for a long time, and I have made a goal to clear things off of my needles. You might notice that there's some things missing from up there, and there'll be more things going up there so that it's in line of sight for me, so that I know that I need to finish that. But I'm getting things off the needles, which is really good. And I'm actually going to be bringing in December, there's going to be like a short series of videos regarding finishing these objects. So I'll give you a look here, but I'll go a little more in depth in December in the series that I'm bringing out, and it's called Project UFO. So Project Unfinished Object. I'm not calling them whips because works in progress insinuates that I'm working on them, and I'm not. They're just unfinished objects that I put away and stop touching. So I'm trying to get those all off the needles before Christmas or the New Year, kind of in there. And so hopefully there will be no more unfinished objects in my house, and I can get them all done. I have stuff that I started designing and that I just put down, and because I just get overwhelmed, and also I have ADD, so that is just part of being me. Okay, so first things first. This is a finished object. I used Tumphy yarn. Berlini Tumphy, and it's made in Italy, and it's 50% wool, 50% high bulk acrylic. So it is a yarn that's perfect for making a blanket. It's not super soft. It's a good, like, it's good for sweaters, and it's good for blanket knitting. So what I did is I was finally just really tired of knitting this project. It's been on the needles for a long time, and I've just totally been done with it. So I took it to work one night and I added a few more rows and I finished it off, and then I did the ribbing and cast it off. So it's not as big as I was planning on it to be, but it is fairly large. So here it is. So I cast on. This is not a pattern. This is just I cast on and I started knitting, and I'll explain it to you. So I cast on 250 stitches, and I used ChowGoo 5.5 millimeter, which for the Americans watching is a 9 US, and 250 stitches. And see all the ends I have to weave in. But luckily they're just on one side. So this is a perfect like lap blanket for on the couch. It is not very long, like length, but it's very wide. So I guess it could be very long if you took it this way and not very wide. But it's perfect for sitting on the couch with. It's nice and cozy. And the yarn, the stripes, I just did however long I felt like doing, and I just knit it back and forth. And then I put the brown, which I started here. This is a spot you could see the brown really well there. And then I did 2 rows of the brown in between each color, and I knit 1 row and purled back, so it's got a bit of a ridge. But that's the only thing that I consistently did in the whole thing, and I like it. I think it's really pretty. It's very comfy. I just have to weave in the ends, and that's done, and that's a huge project off my needles. After I finished with this project, I took all of the leftover yarn that I had from the blanket, and I actually donated it because I was done with knitting with this yarn. It just happens. I've knit projects out of it. I've knit sweaters out of it, and I just had a ton. I think I had, well, however many colors there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I have one other color, 7. So I had 7 sweaters worth of this yarn originally, and I've knit so many things out of this yarn, leg warmers, mittens, everything. So I'm just pretty much done with it. And I've had it for quite a few years, so I have definitely gotten my use out of it, and I'm more than happy to share that with people who could possibly enjoy it. So, and I know that there's people that have already been enjoying this yarn, so I'm really happy about that. It's a win-win for everybody. My project's done, and that yarn is out of my stash, so super happy with that. The next thing I did, and this I'll go into more detail when I have my Project UFO coming out, but this is now a finished object. It is a pair of socks. So these were my Afterthought Everything socks. And so I just knit, I did a 2x2 per rib on the top. And then I knit a big tube. And then I did a 2x2 rib at the bottom. So then I found the center and actually counted rows. I found the center. And when I picked these up the other day, they didn't have the toes or the heels. So what I did is I put the toes on, and then I found where I wanted to put the heels, and I put the heels on. I'm actually giving these to one of my daughters, and it turned out that I measured wrong. The great thing about Afterthought Everything socks is that I can actually take this heel out. I can do a I can Kitchener stitch that line closed again, and I can move the heel wherever I want to. So that's fine. It's going to be okay. I've actually thought about maybe leaving it for her because she can grow into them, and I did the heels fairly narrow because then it just gives a smaller distance. I think she's going to love these because she's turning 12 tomorrow. It's her birthday tomorrow. And she loves odd socks. She loves long socks. And these are actually about the toe length too long. So she's going to be growing. I don't know if I'm going to move the heel or not. I'm going to get her to try them on and see how they actually fit. I tried them on her younger sister, so maybe her feet are a little bit bigger, but I doubt it. But yeah, she's going to love these. She's going to love these. And I think they're beautiful. They are very, very long. And they took a while to knit, but definitely a lot of fun. It's nice when you can just knit, knit, knit. And then I've used all of the yarn. The yarn was an opal yarn. And I don't have the tag for it anymore. But the yarn that I used for the toes and the heels is this, and it's Knit Picks yarn. So, but it's just one of my scraps from another top that I made, so I don't have the band for that either. But it's a perfect use of scraps, as putting them in as heels and toes and that sort of thing. So that's that. So now I'm done with the bag that this was housed in. I'm just going to pull my needles out of the bag. This is the great part, is that I get to now put this stuff away. And it was housed in my Mrs. Brown's bag. And this one I got last year, and I purchased it right before Knit City. And yeah, purchased it right before Knit City. It's pretty much been housing socks or sweaters or shawls ever since. So yeah, but it's gonna go in my cupboard now. Empty. I am still hosting a knit along, and the knit along is the Skaha sweater knit along, and it is going along swimmingly. I still have not started the sleeves for this sweater. This is still just as far as I was, but because I'm getting everything off the needles, I think that this is going to be the next thing that I will be working on. It's a ton of fun. It's very simple. There's actually quite a few people taking part in the knit along, but also there's a knit along going on in so this summer I went on a big road trip with my girls, and we went up to Vanderhoof, which is my hometown where I was born and raised. And from there we went into Alberta and did a big road trip. But on the way into Alberta, I stopped in Prince George, which is the main city in that area, and stopped in the yarn shop there. And they are doing... The yarn shop is called Top Drawer Yarn, and there is a lovely group of ladies who are joining the knit along as well, and they are working on knitting their own Skaha sweaters. They look great. I've seen some update pictures, and I'm super, super happy that there's different pockets of people doing it, and I'm really excited about it. And I wanted to show you one of the prizes that was donated for a giveaway. So this bag was donated by 2 Sticks and You for a giveaway, and I'm going to add it as one of the prizes for the Skaha sweater cowl. And it is a lovely project bag, and then inside is a lovely Notions pouch, which is perfect. And they both have matching interiors, purple with, or lavender with white polka dots. So very pretty. And it's just a really pretty little detail. Little fisherwoman and some cute little animals. Show you. And yeah, it's very, very pretty. Her bags are very well made. I have another bag of hers. It's actually the little one right there. And it has a cute little bicycle on it that matches my bike, which I love, and you'll be seeing what's in there very soon in the next few episodes. So this is one of the donations that is going to be part of the prize package for the Skaha sweater cowl. As well, I'm going to be giving you, and I'll be giving away 4 skeins of yarn of the color of your choice, color family of your choice. So you can either knit one beautiful thing or for smaller things, whichever, but then it will be in your color family, favorite color family. So so that is what we have. So I don't have the yarn to show you because it's up to you what color that's going to be. So don't forget to participate. You can go onto Instagram and hashtag Skaha sweater cowl. And also in the Ravelry group, there's a thread as well that people have been posting. And I'm not as active there. I am looking, I am seeing everything, but I'm not very active there because I just have so much of things going on outside of the knitting, my knitting life. Let's get into jibber jabber, shall we? So I'll talk about the trip I took this summer, and then I'll get to why you guys actually tuned in. So, took a trip up north with the girls. I have a house up there that I rent out, and we had to fix the fence this year. Every couple of years I have to go up and fix something. Last year it was the roof. This year it was the fence, so we re-propped up the fence, put in new posts, and painted most of it. Got a good portion of it. Next time I go up there, I will finish painting the back half. It's 2 separate fences, so it doesn't make a big difference that the front half was painted white and the back half is green. But I will be going in probably next year and buying a spray painter, and doing it that way. I think it's just way easier. We spent 3 days painting by hand, and it was just a tedious task. So saw some friends there, which was amazing. Then we stopped in Prince George and went to the Top Drawer Studio, which is this cute little yarn store that is above a bookstore. And my girls love books, and I love yarn. So they went downstairs and they went book shopping, and I went upstairs and I went yarn shopping. So I had a really good visit with the ladies there. We had some really great talks about some things that could be, would be, will be coming up, and I will share that with you as we get closer. And just had a really good little visit, then went downstairs and got the girls, picked up the books that they were interested in having so that they could read on the road trip to Alberta. So we drove to Alberta and we went to Edmonton, stayed with a friend of mine who lives in Edmonton, and I took the girls to West Edmonton Mall, which they loved. My sister flew into Edmonton, so that was fantastic. So I picked her up at the airport, and then we all hung out, and then we headed down south. So when we headed down south, in Edmonton, we went into the couple different yarn stores there, which were fabulous. There's a new one downtown that I really liked. Oh my goodness, I can't remember its name. We got lost twice trying to find it. If I can find it, I'll write it below. But we had a really good visit in there, and then we went down south. Then we started going towards Calgary, and we stopped at the McCausland Woolen Mill, and the girls got to see in there. They didn't get a tour, but because the tours had just ended by the time we arrived, but they got to see where all the wool is worked, and there was a big quilting machine, an old-fashioned quilting machine in there that was super cool for them to see. And then of course they have a ton of cats, so the kids were in seventh heaven. Scylla and I looked at some yarn, and it was wonderful. After we went there, we drove down to Calgary and met up with my good friend Carla of the Knittinginspiration podcast, and we had the opportunity to stay with her, and we had such a great time together. She hosted a knit night while we were there, which was really, really fun. There was a wonderful group of ladies that came, including her Instagram name is Auntie Joe, and she has a podcast, and Kim of Ginger Snap Yarns was there as well. There's also a couple other ladies there that I'm sorry, I can't remember their names at the moment because it's been so long. And Joanne, who is Creative Mojo on YouTube as well. So those lovely ladies were there. We had a really, really great time. Took the girls on a couple adventures while we were there, and we went with Carla to the zoo, the Calgary Zoo, and we got to see the pandas there, which was really cool. One of the girls that we had with us had never been to a zoo before, so it was really cool to see her, to see the wonder on her face for the whole time. And my one of my girls, Allie, she loved seeing the orchids in there's a giant greenhouse, and that was the first place she wanted to go because she loves orchids, so she wanted to see the orchids. So we took her there, she got to see the orchids, took all sorts of pictures with the orchids, and got to see all the animals. It was so much fun. Scylla was still with us, and then we were heading back to BC. But meanwhile, we stopped in and went to Head Smashed In Buffalo Jump, which is a very cool World Heritage site that I enjoy going to, and I like to bring the girls. And it's a site where the Plains Indians actually did massive bison slaughters for thousands of years, and they used the cliffs as where they would get the buffalo to. They would get them essentially to jump off the cliff, and then they would process all the meat, and it would help sustain them for the remainder of the year, which is really cool. I love history like that, and I just I like showing my girls the different parts of Canadian culture, and I feel that it's really important for them to understand the Indigenous culture of the First Nations people in Canada. So we did that. Then we went to Nelson, and it was my auntie's wedding. So we went to my auntie's wedding, which was fantastic. It was super relaxed. It was really wonderful. It was great to be around family and see them all. It was very intimate event, and I really enjoyed myself. And I love spending time with my auntie and now my new uncle and their kids. And it was just so relaxed and nice and just really, really mellow. And after the wedding, we went down to the community center, and before the wedding, I went to a yarn shop. Then after the wedding, we went to the community center, and there was a knitting get together there, and a lot of the ladies who were there are the ladies that I go to Sorrento with at the knitting retreat. And so it was really good catching up with them, and we had really good conversation, and those ladies are fabulous. And then after that, we went to the Nakusp Hot Springs on the way home, and then we stopped in Tappan for a little bit more West Coast color yarn because I was designing at the time this lovely shawl, the Zig Zag Shawl. And then we went home, and it was really, really good. So I enjoyed myself immensely. It was a really nice couple weeks. We spent a few days here, a few days there. It was something that I really needed to do right in the middle of summer because it was just so smoky here. So I beat the smoke, and then like the week we got home, Vanderhoof was full of smoke, Prince George was full of smoke, and to the point where at 9 o'clock in the morning, it looked like it was the middle of the night, and it was just so dark and hazy. Edmonton got full of smoke, Calgary got filled with smoke, like everywhere got filled with smoke, and we were ahead of it. So we had blue sky and sunshine. There was a little bit of rain, which is fine. It was such a nice break, and by the time we got back, the smoke here was clearing up, so that was amazing. We definitely have some climate stuff changing here, so we get much more fires than we used to. There was no fires for years and years and years, and now we're getting more lightning storms, and we're getting more fires, and that's just part of the climate, I guess. So, yeah. So now I'm going to talk about the thing that you're actually here to see. I shrunk my knitting. I don't know how it happened. I do know how it happened. I'm lying. I know exactly how it happened. I don't know what I was thinking. Let's pause there for a moment. It's something I'm never going to do again, knowingly. I am upset. I'm more than a little bit upset, actually, about this. I've shrunk knitting before and been like, it's okay. It's fine. This was not fine or okay or wonderful. I'm super not happy about it. We can joke now. It's a little too soon. But yes, I shrunk my knitting. I was doing a load of laundry the other night, and sometimes I throw my socks in the washing machine. They're super wash. It's not a big deal. I hang them out to dry. It's fine. This was not a pair of socks. This was not fine. I'll show you. So I designed something very recently in the spring, and it is called the Kettle Valley Poncho. You can see where I'm going with this. It is a beautiful, flowy, oversized poncho that's just great to put over anything to just give you extra warmth, and it looks really good with jeans. It's fabulous. I have two, so that's my saving grace, is I have two. But one of them is for my youngest now, and she's super excited. She said, "Mama, I like it when you shrink your clothes because then I get to have them." So here is my Kettle Valley poncho that fits a 10-year-old. It shrunk so much. It's so felted. It's so shrunk. I'm so sad. It was washed with cold water because that's how I wash everything. Oh. I should have prefaced this with a brace yourself because this is gonna hurt. It is so tiny. This is not how big it was. Like, look at that. It comes to my elbow when it's actually at my shoulder. I can't even get it on. That's how small this is. So I have a moral to the story is I will be washing all of my hand knits by hand, as the name suggests. Hand knits, wash by hand. Hand, hand. I'm going to do that now. The other thing is that it looks really cute on a 10-year-old when it shrunk. So if anybody happens to shrink theirs and they know a 10-year-old that would love it, my 10-year-old loves it. She's super happy. She's really happy. Like, she was giddy when she saw that it shrunk. She was very excited. So the moral of the story is I will be washing my hand knits by hand always from this point on. I've learned my lesson. There weren't tears, but there was emotional anguish within my soul for this knit because it takes a lot of yarn. It was a lot of nice yarn that it shrunk. It takes a lot of yarn. It was an expensive knit. I'll just put it like that. But now my 10-year-old gets it and she loves it. So hooray. And now that it's felted, if and when she grows out of it, I can always steek it and put in a button band and then she can have it forever. So that's what I shrunk. Thank you for lamenting with me. I appreciate it. So thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate every single one of you. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. And also don't forget to subscribe. I appreciate every single one of you. And I'll see you on the next episode. Until next time. My hair is driving me a little bit bonkers, so got it out of the way. Right, it's called Operation No. It's very natural under my circumstances. Okay, Top Drawer Yarn Studio, I think it is. My knitting line.